Today, we're not just telling ghost stories, we're going to analyze them. We're diving deep into a whole collection of modern, first-person paranormal encounters to see what patterns they reveal about our collective anxieties.
Okay, let's just jump right into the deep end, shall we? This line right here is one of the most chilling things I've read. And get this, it's not from a horror movie. It's what a 4-year-old boy with a totally straight face said to his mother one morning. He was talking about a new, unseen friend he'd made in their new house.
Yeah, that's terrifying. But beyond just the goosebumps, what do stories like that really tell us about ourselves? See, this explainer isn't just about what goes bump in the night. It's an analysis of the deeper fears that are hiding in the shadows of these tales. We're hunting for the patterns.
So our source material is a collection of 22 personal stories posted online. Now, we're not trying to prove if they're real or not. That's not the point. Instead, we're treating them like data points, little clues that might reveal something much bigger about our collective psyche.
Okay, so the first and maybe the most common theme we see across all these stories is the invasion of the one place you're supposed to feel completely safe, your home.
And this slide really lays out the core conflict. On one side, you have what a home is meant to be, a sanctuary, predictable, safe. But in these stories, that whole idea gets completely twisted. It becomes a place of threat, totally unpredictable, and just alien. And these stories are just filled with these violations. And we're not talking about a subtle feeling, it's physical. A heavy candle flying across a room, loud, powerful bangs on the side of a house coming from the pitch black darkness outside. You know, these aren't just subtle creaks. These feel like acts of aggression in a place that's meant for peace.
And this quote, it just captures the human response perfectly. It's from a person who heard loud banging from downstairs while they were home alone. And what did they do? They marched right down there and declared this to the empty darkness. It's that defiant pushback against the ultimate violation, the fear of not being safe in your own territory. So this violation of a safe space, it often builds into our second powerful theme, the idea that the ones we see as most innocent, our kids and our pets, are usually the first to sense it.
And I know, this sounds like a classic horror movie trope, right? But it's a recurring central element in these real-life accounts. The narrators consistently point to their pets or their kids as the first ones to notice that something is deeply, deeply wrong.
This is a direct quote from a woman whose cat, Gizmo, became absolutely obsessed with an air vent in their new apartment. The cat would just sit and stare at it for hours. Then, one night, the owner glances over and sees 2 glowing red eyes staring back from inside the vent for just a split second.
And in another story, a child isn't just sensing a presence, she's actively communicating with it. Her older sister overhears her talking to Greta, and she's relaying details about a fatal accident that a 9-year-old would have no way of knowing. It's just a deeply unsettling and specific example.
So, what it all comes down to is that these stories position the innocent not just as victims, but as active messengers. They become these living warning signs, like biological alarm systems for things that exist just outside our own perception.
Okay, this final theme is, well, it's maybe the most disturbing. It involves stories that go beyond your traditional ghosts to describe something else entirely, a complete and inexplicable break in the rules of reality itself.
Let's start with this phenomenon of lost time. One person tells a story about a simple drive to their parents' house. It's a trip that always takes about 10 minutes, but on this one day, it didn't.
So the timeline of their trip is just bizarre. They leave around 4:10 p.m. and should arrive at 4:19, but they actually get there at 4:57 p.m. They made a 10-minute drive in almost 50 minutes with absolutely no memory of traffic, no stops, just a void. 38 minutes of their life just gone.
This story isn't about a whisper or a spooky sound. This is a fire investigator, alone in a dark, burned-out building, who hears a direct, forceful, and audible command coming from an empty void. When he takes another step, the voice repeats, even louder, "Stop." This isn't a chat with a spirit, it's a sensory event that just shouldn't be possible.
And the accounts are filled with these little reality glitches. A featureless white figure just skipping past a window. A phone suddenly playing sounds of someone struggling through snow when no apps are even open. These things don't really fit the typical ghost story narrative. They suggest the very fabric of our reality is maybe a lot more fragile and strange than we imagine. So in the end, modern ghost stories are like a mirror. They show us that while we're definitely afraid of an intruder in the house, we might be even more terrified of an intruder in our reality. The idea that the world doesn't operate by the rules we all thought we knew.
It's a question that really lingers, long after the chill has faded. It pushes us to wonder not just about what's out there in the dark, but about the very stability of the ground beneath our feet and the boundaries of our own perception.